to the very first video for
Inside and Outside, Rebels Against the Norm.
We're very excited.
And
I was a correctional officer for 14 years at a maximum security prison here in Alaska. That is all I'm going to say about where or anything like that because I have to be very careful. I don't want to get sued. What about you, Liberty?
I don't want to get sued either.
Cool.
That'd be bad.
So I actually met Liberty at the prison. No, we weren't in prison together. Kind of, but it was more so that we wanted to be there. I was working, she was volunteering. How did you even start to volunteer at a prison? What made you think of that?
It wasn't my choice. I published a book 3 years ago now called The Heart of the Runaway. And my brother was murdered in 1997. And part of my book covers my brother's death. And the superintendent at the prison that April used to work at read the book, and in the book I talk about working at a cafe in our little town in Alaska, and he came into the cafe to see if I still worked there because some of the inmates wanted me to come in and talk to them, to the victim impact group, and talk to them about how my brother's death affected me back then and how it continues to affect me now. So I didn't intend to volunteer in prisons. It never even crossed my mind. And then here comes the superintendent, orders a coffee and invites me into a prison. And I was like, whoa, buddy.
You want to come to prison? Go on, sure.
Right?
That's what I was thinking about today. Let's go to prison.
Let's go to prison. Well, when he invited me in, it took me a while to come to a decision. I told him that I needed time to think about it because that's a scary thing. I mean, being a female, walking into a male maximum security prison.
It's men's only.
Yeah. And I have zero experience with prison or jail before that. And so it was a scary thought. So I took a few days to ponder it, and I've always been a huge advocate for forgiveness. And so I figured this was my chance to actually walk the walk instead of just talking the talk. And so I agreed to go in, and that first day, it was a little scary. The superintendent emailed me before my visit, and he said, don't wear a belt because they can hang you with it. Don't wear anything low cut. Don't wear high heels. Don't wear perfume. Don't wear a bunch of makeup. Don't wear anything super tight. I was like, you were selling it, buddy. Really making me feel comfortable.
Wear a wig, put a burlap bag on.
Right?
Buddy.
Yeah, so it was a scary thing, my first time walking into that prison, and it was meant to be just a one-time talk. And it's been, 3 years now that I have been going back, so.
Well, you're like some of those people that just keep going back to prison, I guess.
Right? The superintendent told me one time that he never met anyone so excited to go to prison.
I can't imagine him saying that. That's funny. I didn't think about becoming a correctional officer. That was it wasn't something that I thought about and thought, ooh, that's too scary. I never thought about it until I was working at a Subway, and a friend of mine's, her nephew had gotten in some trouble, so he had a PO. And she would come into Subway all the time and get sandwiches. Well, we started talking and chatting, and then I would take this nephew to see her, and so we chatted even more. And one day, she's coming through the Subway line, and she's like, hey, April, you would make an excellent CO. And I was like, what's a CO? What? I was thinking like, manager for Subway, corporate.
CEO?
Yeah. I was like, what do you mean? She says, correctional officer. She's like, the state of Alaska is hiring correctional officers right now. You would be awesome. And I was like, I asked her, how did you even come to this? I work at a sandwich shop. And somehow you think I'd be a good correctional officer. And she said, well, because you have really good people skills and you're patient. And just seeing the way that you interact with people, she was like, I think you should try. And I said, I won't know anything about it. She said, honestly, if you have good customer service skills and from what I've seen of what you do, I think you should try. The worst they can say is no. So I went ahead. So I totally understand when you say walking your first time into a prison. It wasn't like, I dream of being a police officer. So when you finally step your first day, you've at least had a lot of time to think about it and process it. No, it was like, I applied, got hired around 6 months after I applied because the process takes forever. And there I was, standing in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
What have I done? You hear the doors close behind you, and you can't operate the doors. They're operated by a control room. And I'm just like, all these men dressed in yellow, because that's the color of the prison uniform there. They're all looking, because they all know who the new officers are.
Yeah.
They know. There's only, about 500 prisoners, give or take, depending on what's going on. But, so there's a bunch of guys in the gym, and they're all looking, and you feel like overwhelmed.
A slab of meat in the wolf's den. That's how I felt when I was following along behind the superintendent, and those doors that she was talking about, it is like the movies, like one door clanks open and they're so loud, and then you go into this tiny little room and that door clanks shut behind you, and then the next door opens, and it is like being in a movie. Like, holy shit. I cannot get out if shit goes south.
Yep, I can't open the door.
And then that second door opened, and it was the gym in front of me, and they're all out there playing basketball, and some of them are lifting weights, and the superintendent just starts walking across the gym, and I'm like scampering behind him like a little jackrabbit, right? And you hear the basketball stop bouncing, and I can just feel everyone staring at me, but I'm walking along through the gym like, what up? It's cool, I got this. Meanwhile, I'm like crapping my pants.
Yep.
It's very scary.
I have to say, anybody that willingly steps foot into a prison, they have some courage. They definitely have some courage. They might turn tail and run, and honestly, when I stepped into the gym, I was like...
But you can't because the doors are locked.
Right. I was like, I wonder if I'll be coming back to work tomorrow. But, yeah, it's quite the experience. I will tell you, just a little fun fact here. That room, when they open the door, you step in, the door closes, that area is known as a sally port. So many people do not know what a sally port is. I didn't know.
I didn't know that's what it was called.
They're like, oh, if you go to the sally port, I'm like, Sally who? I don't know.
Who's Sally? I thought this was a men's prison.
Yeah. So, and I felt really stupid in the sense of, I didn't, like, when you walk in, where I used to work, there's this, it's a control room, but you can't see in.
Oh, with the glass?
Yes.
Where I would get my visitor badge?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, but I didn't know there's people, I didn't know anything about.
Yeah.
I'm glad I wasn't sitting there like waiting for my interview, picking my nose or something. You just don't know.
Yeah.
And then when you realize, and then when you're sitting in there, you're like, how stupid did I look when I was sitting in there waiting for my interview, looking around, wondering, where are the people, just...
It's like talking to someone with sunglasses on. Like, you can't see the person. It's not a two-way mirror, but it's like the glass is so tinted or something that you can't see the officer behind. And then, so I was just standing there, and then you hear someone talk, and you're like looking at the glass talking, but the person's probably standing over here. And then the bank drawer, like the bank drive-thru.
We call it a rollout.
Oh, the rollout. So that comes out, and I would have to put my driver's license in, and then they take it and send through the visitor badge. But it's like, you do feel like an idiot because you know there's someone back there, but
you don't know where to go.
Where do you look?
Yeah. Is anybody working here? I just walked in. Oh, is that God? Nope, that's a person over here. Go to the rollout. You walk there and you're like, I don't know where I'm allowed to go in here. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, have you ever gotten your fingers smushed in a rollout?
No.
Oh, man, it hurts.
I bet it hurts.
Really bad. Yeah. Just saying.
Not bad.
It hurts because they're heavy duty steel, and then they slam shut on your finger. It is not nice.
And you know the person that you can't see behind the glass is laughing at you.
Yeah, most likely. Most likely. So, I spent 14 years at the prison, and there's a lot of stuff that I fell into believing. Because when you first go there, especially if you don't know anything about prisons and prisoners and all that stuff, all you know is, like Liberty said, you're walking in and you do not want to go stay here like she was with the superintendent. I will be right there. I'm following along. And that's kind of what happens with fellow COs. You don't know them from Adam, but you know they're wearing blue. And so now everything they say, you're hanging on to every word because they're your friends. And in your mind, you're thinking, all those guys out there playing basketball, lifting weights, running around the gym, doing this different stuff, they all want to rape me, they want to kill me, they want to slice me open, they want to do horrible things to me. I can't listen to anything they say. I can only listen to what my friends say, because hopefully they're going to be the ones to rescue me.
Right,
Something
like they're the
happens.
criminals and the COs are safe and will have your back.
So that kind of gets into some of the stuff that when you're so, your brain is so open to information and learning something, sometimes you forget to put your own filter on that. Your own filter of, wait a minute, these are not pieces of shit. These are people. But fear and ignorance to where you are and what the job is and all of that plays a huge part into all of it. And through all of my 14 years and stuff, I learned a lot and actually ended up realizing the DOC was pretty much.
That's Department of Corrections.
Yeah, sorry, Department of Correction. There's gonna be a lot of lingo that I'll probably thank you, because there's things I take for granted. But I look at most of the prison systems, and we're throwing a bunch of criminals, whether they're young, old, come from horrible backgrounds, come from great backgrounds, rich, poor, it doesn't matter. Throwing a whole bunch of them into one place, warehousing them. They learn from each other, because God forbid an officer actually cares about these individuals and prisoners as humans. So they learn from each other. They begin to hate law enforcement even more and authority. They become more violent because, well, everybody knows, for the most part, prison is a place where you better be able to fight for what you want, for what you have, for sometimes for survival. I'm not going to say that the prison I worked at was, it definitely had its times, but it wasn't like the hardcore San Quentin or whatever down in the States. But the ideals, all that kind of stuff, they're the same in a way, because it's still people, it's human nature and things like that. So you put them all together, warehouse them, throw a few programs at them that they've taken numerous times before, and that they do just because, oh, I can go out on furlough early, I can get an ankle monitor, I can whatever. And then we put them back out into the world, and they move next to you, they move next to me, they live in our neighborhoods, they're working at the stores that we go to, everything like that. And what have we done for society, for ourselves, by doing that?
Well, and that's what DOC is good for, is known for, is warehousing these people who clearly have issues that they need to work through. That's why they committed these crimes. Just warehousing them, treating them like animals, turning them feral, and then releasing them out into society. Which is why recidivism, the reoffending rate, is so high. Because you're just storing these people in this prison. You know, no one, yeah, you throw a few, like you said, throw a few programs at them, but what good is that going to do? Like, we're not teaching them anything valuable as far as mindset and positivity and forgiveness, you know? Yeah, so you got your GED while you were in prison. That's great. That is great. But also that's not really teaching you how to be a part of society and re-enter society in a positive way when you're released.
Exactly. And I've noticed also, one of the things I hear all the time is, well, it's their responsibility. If they come into prison and they don't want to change, then that's on them. If I was given, I don't even know if this is going to be a great analogy or not, but if I was given a helicopter that was kind of torn apart, said, hey, fix this.
If you want to fly bad enough, you'll learn how to fix it.
You'll learn how to fix it.
But there's no one there to teach you.
And it's not like, I mean, are there books? Yes, but some of these guys, they come from backgrounds where I came from a background that I was taught respect. I was taught, I come from a Baptist background. So we're taught people are very, you treat people how you want to be treated. Drugs, no, you don't touch drugs. Just all that stuff that goes along with having two parents who have morals, ethics, and a belief system that is treat people like you want to be treated and don't mess up. Don't do bad things and go to prison.
Easier said than done, right?
Some of these guys came from families where they grow up and they see their parents selling drugs because why? It's how we take care of the family. I can work at McDonald's and not really be able to afford, to life, or I can sell drugs. And I've actually had some prisoners tell me, I can't get at work at McDonald's. I can't pay for my child support. I can't pay for an apartment. I'll be stuck at a halfway house or what are those called? Like a shelter.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be stuck there. I'm not doing anything for my kids. It's my responsibility. So I sell drugs. It's what I was raised to do to take care of my family before all. They so believe that you're like, wow. That's a whole. It's like seeing through other people's glasses that they have on. Like, oh yeah, this is what life looks like to you.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Abuse is rampant. Child abuse. When a lot of these guys grow up, they're abused, and then they're taught, hey, you need to be tough. You don't talk about this. You don't any of that stuff. And so now they're this angry, don't know what to do with it, lash out at people. Who cares if I die? Because I don't even, care about myself because I haven't worked through any of the issues or anything like that. I must be a piece of crap because my dad beat the shit out of me or, whatever. And then we say, fix yourself. That's...
Well, right. And going back to your helicopter analogy, out here in the free world, which is anything outside of prison, if we don't know how to do something, we YouTube it. I mean, my pipes froze at my coffee shop last month, and I asked some people for help, and the response was, I don't know, YouTube it. Okay, well, there ain't no YouTube in prison.
Right.
So how do you YouTube becoming a better person when you have zero access to the tools that are going to help you learn to become a better person?
Exactly.
Like, here's a writing class. I used to teach writing classes out at the prison that April worked at. But that was an amazing outlet. I mean, there's the things that the guys wrote during that class were phenomenal. But that was just like a grain of sand. I mean, compared to what we have out here. I want to be a better person, so I'm going to go to this self-help bookstore and get all these books. I'm going to look online for inspiring, encouraging things like Mind Valley. But they don't have that.
Nope.
They don't have that. They have little old me teaching them a writing class. Like, so sorry, dude. So the opportunity just isn't there.
He'll be alright. He'll be alright. Yeah. It's interesting that you say writing class and books, because that was another thing. Well, they can get books. I was shocked at how many of the guys, and it's not because they're stupid, because man, a lot of them are street smart and can survive a lot longer than I could out on the street. But so many guys, they would bring something up to me and be like, "Hey, McCarty, what does this say?" I'd be like, "Excellent. Oh, okay. What about this?" Or there's guys who would come up, and they wouldn't do it right away. They'd get to know me and they'd figure out, oh, okay, this is someone that isn't gonna make me feel stupid.
Right.
They'd either hear it from the other guys or whatever, but they'd come up and they'd be like, "McCarty, I can't read and I got this letter." Or, "I can't read the answer on this cop-out. I had my friend," a cop-out is, I'll tell you in a minute. But they'd be like, "I can't read, I had my friend fill this out, but now I can't read the answer." Damn. If you can't read, good luck. A cop-out, which technically it's a request for interview is what it's called. We got in trouble for calling them cop-outs.
Wait, but what are they requesting to be interviewed for?
What it is let's say that I'm a prisoner and I want to, let's say I've made something like this, which a prisoner did make, and gave to us. It's an origami, amazing thing. But let's say that I made this and I want to send this out to my sister.
Okay.
So I write a request for interview to the property guy. I say, "Hey, Officer so-and-so, I have this origami art that I made and I would like to send it out to my sister. How can I do that?" So then they put it in a box, it gets collected, and then the property officer gets it, reads it, gives them an answer, "You do this, you do that, blah, blah, blah." And then they send it back through distro, and then the prisoner gets it back. So it's how they communicate with all, except for their mod officers.
And the mods are houses, basically.
There's, I should have brought the whiteboard in. We'll touch on that next time. Next video,
we'll go over the prison.
I'll do a diagram, of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how they communicate, because they're not allowed to just go up and "Hey, property officer, come here." Some of them will, but most of the time, a lot of the staff is busy doing their things, so this just streamlines that stuff. So that's what a cop-out is. But yeah, writing classes. Actually, what would happen is a lot of times I would see prisoners that did know how to read and stuff. They would actually help some of the guys.
Yeah.
They would do some tutoring themselves. So to say that all prison, seeing some of that actually is what helped me. I was like, these guys are helping each other, and he's not helping them make a shank or a knife. He's helping them learn how to read. First of all, that's frustrating. That if you've got someone who doesn't know how to read and you're trying to, that's time consuming. That's a lot. So I started, because of the mentality that you're taught the way you're taught to think about prisoners, I was like, I do care about. They are human beings just like us. It sadly, I felt like for about the first 3 years, I allowed myself to kind of be sucked into the mindset that, I'm sorry, I'm not saying DOC or Department of Corrections is bad. I'm saying I think they got some things really that has been taught through the ages or whatever, through the time of prisons. They got some things mixed up, and one of those things are thinking that anybody who's in prison is less.
It's like encouraging that us versus them mentality, and because you are a CO wearing blue, you're in control, you're in charge. Fuck the inmates.
Oh yeah, and we get some.
So
for those first 3 years, I bought into that. because okay, I don't want to, this is not an excuse, because excuses are kind of bullshit. So, but I didn't know what I didn't know. And that is to say, I went in like kind of terrified, and if you start a new job, you read the manual, you learn what you're supposed to do, and you're doing everything like, okay, I gotta get this right, I gotta get that right, because we want.
Yeah, and you do what the person training you tells you to do.
Right. But I still feel bad, because I feel like I wish I would have stuck to, well, doesn't that, isn't that kind of backwards that we're doing this? Shouldn't we be kind of mentoring? Or just even the whole, no, I'm not going to treat this guy like, yeah, I won. I took your shoes, because they're not your shoes. They're your buddy's shoes. And now I have them. Maybe you'll learn your lesson. Instead, I'm victorious with these shoes that I took. And I know that these two guys are buddies. He didn't go beat him up and steal his shoes. But here I am victorious. And now this guy, here you go. Here's a pair of we call them felony flyers. They're crappy canvas shoes with they're
kind of like Vans, aren't they? Yeah, like slip-on Vans.
Here you go. And in the wintertime,
wintertime's
really fun.
We live in Alaska.
Yeah, the yard gets all. So if they want to come over to medical, if they want to come over to the store, the gym, a lot of different things get their property. They have to walk around the track to get there. And yeah, they keep the track as nice as they can. But when it's slushy and wet, which is a lot of times in where we're at, Alaska.
We are not saying the name of the town.
But it's like that a lot here. And yay, I won. You had some good shoes that your buddy was letting you wear, and now you can wear these, and your feet can be cold. It's just this whole thing, and it starts this process. And yeah, we're going to go into a lot of that for sure. But what I did want to kind of do was kind of share with you guys some of the stuff. Have you seen all this art?
Yeah, the superintendent showed me during my first visit there.
I don't know if yeah, you guys can see that.
Well, you could
hold it up. So this is art that
it's on the walls.
Is on the walls at the prison. For a period of time, there was a commissioner and a superintendent who really the commissioner went to the prison in Norway, and the name escapes me. I know it starts with an H. Anyway, to see what they're doing, because their recidivism rate is down to 22%. That's crazy. Alaska's is like 60-something percent. So, that's a whole other thing we'll get into also. But he saw what they were doing in changing even the colors, because in prison, what are the colors in prison, Liberty?
I don't know.
Because they're so boring. They're boring and drab, and they're
not
grays.
orange. Not orange.
No, that's what the prisoners wear. It's orange, yellow, red.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's this like industrial blue, industrial grays, white. It's horrid. It's horrid. And I learned that all about how colors actually affect your mood and everything like that. In fact, when my wife and I moved into a new place, we moved from a house where the walls were all white. We moved into a place that had almost kind of like the walls were almost this color on different walls, and then other walls were like a nice blue, which you think with all these I could find the right color. But anyway, just the change in how homey it felt, just the paint on the wall.
You gotta feng shui that shit.
Yeah, it really helped me understand, wow, colors make a huge difference. So yeah, they were allowed to do this on some of the different places in the prison to kind of bring some life to it and stuff. Which, this is probably a good time to introduce our buddy who can't be here. Here, I'll let you.
Aww.
Yeah, he's giving us permission.
Okay. Well, I'll just say this is Nick. I don't know if you guys can see that picture. So this is a picture of me and Nick. Nick is an inmate at the prison that we were at. And this picture was from their Christmas party like 3 years ago. Let me tell you, those guys throw a party.
They did.
It was pretty great. They made me a stocking, like just this little stocking with my name on it, and hung it on the board. And then they had everyone sign this board that's in the background, just everyone that came to the party. I went to 2 Christmas parties that year at different mods in the prison.
One was my mod, by the way.
And they were awesome. I had a blast.
No, they were some of the most fun Christmas
fun.
parties I've ever been to.
Yeah. So actually, at this party, funny story. So I walked in and walked into that mod, and there's this ring of people. It was like a dogfighting ring, right? Or like a fight club ring. And all I see is like people's backs in this ring. And everyone's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was like, I just walked in on a prison riot. Oh my God. And so, you know, being me, I decided to go get a closer look and walked up, and there was this table in the middle of this group of people. And there was wrapping paper and scissors.
Oh, yeah, that.
Scissors, which are sharp, and tape and everything. And so there were 2 teams across the table, and each team was a correctional officer and an inmate handcuffed together with one arm. Oh, wait, they're handcuffed together with those arms behind their backs, and then using their free hand to wrap a present together.
So I would like have to hold the present while she would
like cutting the paper to see who could do it first. It was awesome. But it was that moment where I walked in and a CO and an inmate are literally handcuffed together, and there's sharp scissors on the table, and everyone's having a fucking blast.
It was amazing.
It was really amazing. Like, where else does that happen except for probably Scandinavia?
Yeah.
No other prison in the States. But yeah, so this is our buddy Nick. We actually just got off the phone with him. You guys talk to him every day, don't you?
Just about every day.
Yeah. And so Nick, he made these coloring books.
There's another picture of Nick without his shirt on. I'm sure he'll be so happy when he one day gets to watch this video.
He's showcasing his tattoos.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
I'll hold the book.
Okay. So prison tattoos, a coloring book for adults. This is not quite a year old? Something like that?
Yeah, it's not a year old.
Yeah. So our buddy Nick did all of these drawings. Yeah. So Nick did all of these drawings, and then April and her wife Dana put them together in this coloring book. And
mostly my wife. She's better.
Yeah, she's great. And so this is available on Amazon. We can put a link to that in the comments here. But this is for sale, and all of the money goes to supporting restorative justice and reentry. And for those who are dying to know, Nick does not see any money from this. He's not allowed to get any money from this. So it's not like, we're selling coloring books and sneaking Nick money. Sneaking dollar bills into inmates. No. So the money from this, Nick donated all of this art, and the money from this is supporting restorative justice initiatives, which is pretty amazing. And he has 2 versions here.
This is coloring book for adults, because I don't know if you saw, there are some pictures in there that, I don't know.
Busty women
that, there's one.
Oh yeah, there she is. She's
I don't know if
motorboated by a skeleton.
I don't know if you want your...
Exactly. We're gonna have to cut that out.
No, we're leaving that. Yeah, so not for
children
10 and under probably. Yeah. Well, yeah, anyway. But then he also donated Oh, look, there he is in a little shirt and tie.
Oh, and his little tie.
Yep.
He looks so handsome.
He did one for kids, and man, doing this way? Oh, never mind. I'll just do this. It's called Color Me Cool, a stress relieving coloring book for all ages. Yeah, he did the art in there, which is much more children oriented. Again, he does not get secret money from us. We are not in business together. But he also there's some cool, that's art at the prison.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of those in here, I do believe. Of course, now that I'm trying to, I won't be able to find them. But, so yeah, he's an amazing artist. But more than that, he is, well, we have a book coming out. Nick and I wrote a book together that covers a lot of what we believe is the issues with Department of Corrections and what we saw working as we both, actually it wasn't just Nick and I trying. My wife was involved in Liberty, coming in and volunteering and doing all that stuff.
And I just want to say her wife was also a correctional officer.
Yes, 5 years at the same
prison
that will remain unnamed. But he and I decided, let's get this out here and let the world see there needs to be some change. There needs to be some, these aren't throwaway people because they're coming back to your neighborhoods. And whether you care about people or not, you probably care about yourself. And I mean, who do you want living next door? A guy who's been raped 5 times and just wants to kill everyone and does not care about human beings? Or someone who changed their life and realized, wow, there's so much more out there. Not everybody's going to change.
No, but that is a good way to look at it. If you don't give a shit about inmates, you do give a shit about yourself and your family. So it would behoove everyone in society to utilize the time that these people are spending incarcerated to help them become better people and be successfully reintroduced into society, because most often they are going to be released and they will be living next door to you and your kids.
Yep.
So,
or serving you
right?
Lunch at Denny's. Is Denny's still a thing?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But anyway,
Not in Alaska.
Somewhere. Or fixing your car.
McDonald's, yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Or the guy that comes to your house to put in your cable dish.
Yeah.
Yep.
How do you want them? So,
absolutely.
He's gonna start plowing, and it's gonna be nice.
Welcome to Alaska.
Yeah.
Snow plows.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Snow plows. It's also freezing cold outside.
I know. But what we want to do is, as we go through our different videos, we'll share more and more stuff with you, because there's more things. I have a ton of stories of things that people never think would happen in prison. Liberty's, just her story alone is amazing. And there's no way we can pack everything into, there's so much to talk about in the realm of the prison world and stuff.
Yeah, and it's so much more than people think. I mean, most people, their only reference for prisons and inmates is TV.
Is Orange is the
New Black.
Or what's that one?
Which, don't sue us for naming them by name. TV shows. Well, I'm pretty sure you can say. Yeah, I'm sure. Or, news.
What was that one, though, where they're in, glass things?
Biodome. Oh, no.
It was on HBO. It's one that Oz. Oh, everybody thinks of Oz. Whoa, that's what prison's like. And I will tell you, if you have the idea of that, when I went to work, I was given a gun and I walked around on a catwalk. Nope. That's kind of what I wondered if I would be doing. I had no idea, because all I knew was from television.
Right.
So, no, We haven't scratched the surface.
I will say that having my only reference for prisons and inmates be TV and the news, and being terrified the first time I went in there, like I can't even, like my hands were shaking so bad, and I was trying to clip my visitor badge on, and I was like convulsing, right? But trying to play it super cool.
Yeah.
But I will say this: I have never, and I speak only for the prison here because that is my only experience with prisons, except for the one in Oregon, but we'll get to that. But I have never felt safer, more respected as a human being, I mean, by those inmates than, I mean, I don't feel that way in a bar or walking down the street of Seattle or anywhere. Yeah. I mean, they are so respectful. You know, they're always looking at my eyes, you know, and those men, let's just say that's why. So I was a seasonal worker for more than a decade, only lived in a town for 3 to 4 months, and then moved on to a different town. That was my life. And those inmates at that prison are the reason that I stayed in this town. They changed my life. Wow. Just from that first meeting with them, it was so profound and changed every single aspect of my life. And I stayed for them. And I've lived here year-round now for 3 years, which is a huge change. Like, if you know me, that's a huge deal for me. Everyone was shocked when I said that I was staying here. And everyone was like, oh, is it because of a dude? And I was like, yeah, 500.
I was just going to say, I want to make this very clear, because the misconception of so many people, especially the ones who work in a prison, is that, oh, this single woman is coming in here. She must be single. She's coming in to volunteer. She must need a man.
Yep, she's looking for a husband. Which is interesting, though, because, you know, some of the staff did assume that about me. But at the time, I had a boyfriend who actually went into the prison with me and met all of the guys. So anyone who actually was a decent human being who knows me knew that that was not the case, that I wasn't going in there looking for a husband. Like, all the guys knew my boyfriend, always asked about him, like, and it was such a frustrating thing too, saying, oh, I volunteer at the prison. So it was either, why would you waste your time with those pieces of shit?
Yep.
Or, oh, I bet you thrilled them, like, oh, you made their day.
Right.
Like,
right.
It's like, fuck you. That is so degrading for all of us.
Yep. Man, as you're talking, I'm thinking of thing after thing after thing, so this is going to be fun. I did want to say, if you guys have any, like, questions or stuff that you are like, oh, I really want to know about this, I really want to know about that, put them in the comments below. Let us know. I just rhymed. I'm a poet, didn't know it. But we will get to them, because our whole vision and reason for doing this is to get the word out there and get people to understand these are human beings you're dealing with. Not all of them are going to change. There's some who, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink, but there are so many of them that, you know why they respected you and were so, well, respectful and everything. You broke through that barrier that is there, because most people that come into a prison, work in a prison, whatever, oh, these are pieces of shit. Instead they saw, oh, Liberty Miller, she cares about people, and she's treating me like, okay, and they'll let you in past that guard. We'll go into that later too. But yeah, let us know if you guys have any questions, want to know stuff, and we will definitely get to those as we go along.
Yeah, and if there's anything that you want us to cover in a show, like, not just answer it in the comments,
right,
like, let us know. We'll talk about it within reason.
Well, we may get a little crazy here, because we are called rebels against the norm. So
We like to get crazy.
I had to take the fur off those. Just throw that out there. But yeah, no, I don't want to say politically correct because that, man, whoo,
We're so not.
what a firecracker right now that would set off. But we're not going to just stick to, let's talk about the nice things. So if you're looking for videos or things to watch that are just all nice and cutesy and what do I want to say, that are nice, cutesy, and boring, it won't
Not
be here.
real.
Right.
Not real.
We're gonna delve into racism, into prison sex, into, yes, I said it,
Yes,
into
you did.
officers who have brought in drugs. We won't name any though. But I mean, we're gonna get into all kinds of that stuff. So stick around. My wife always says, like, hit the subscribe button, and then the bell. That way you get notified every time a new video comes out.
And share. If you think, sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. See, this is what happens when you have people who are not kids or teenagers or millennials doing videos. We're like, hey, my wife says to do this. All right, we'll do this. It's great. But we wanted to get a message out, and that's what our goal here is. So we hope you liked it and like it. Well, you better like it. If you don't, you won't watch.
If you don't like it, don't watch. It's cool.
This will not be your run-of-the-mill nice cutesy show. It's going to be fun.
It is.
And we're kind of dorks sometimes too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big old nerds.
Yep. Anything else you wanted to say?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead.
Thanks for watching our very first video,
Mhm.
and we hope you liked it, and we're gonna see you next time.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. My name's April McCarty,
My name is Liberty Miller.
and this is our very first YouTube video. Oops, fucked that up, didn't I? And, like, I'm peeing my pants right now.
Literally, my shoe's wet.
This is gonna be fun to cut with my way. Yep. So, I love it when I have these little pauses, and I'm so glad I can cut them out.
Awkward
It's
silence.
awesome. Oh, we are gonna have ham sandwiches.
Oh, I got one already. Excuse me.
Let me get that out of there. Oh my word, we're gonna have such good stories for you. Like, man.
We're gonna make inappropriate jokes about murder. I just want to say that it's maybe you should cut that out. I don't know, but
Well, you'll find out. It's okay for
it's
Liberty
okay for
to
me.
make inappropriate jokes about murder. She's allowed. And I'm her friend, so I guess I'm allowed too. But no, this might be good.
Yeah, that was a dick. Don't be a dick. And
Namaste.
namaste, peace out, motherfuckers. And welcome to my cock.
Welcome to my cock.
Let's go have a cigarette.
All right.
Do an actual closing though, so we can.
That was kind of.
We're gonna cut that shit out, right?
Well, yeah, but that's not there. Go ahead. Yep.
Okay.
So, thanks for watching. Oh, goodness.
No, you go. No, you go. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. Hello? Hello?
Exactly.
I can't believe you hung up. No. Anyway, yeah, so thank you for bearing with us. I don't know. You say something.